Ik zit hier vanavond voor het laatst aan dit terras aan de Amstel. Ik praat met mensen die het afgelopen seizoen in het nieuws waren. En vanavond is dat met Anna Enquist, die tot haar eigen verbazing het afgelopen seizoen de publieksprijs won met haar roman Het Geheim. Maar er zijn niet zoveel mensen die ook weten dat zij een enorme voetbalfan is. Hartelijk welkom, mevrouw Enquist. Wat vindt u van de keus van Frankrijk als bondscoach? U bent een kenner, heb ik begrepen.
Ik ben een liefhebber.
Een liefhebber.
De echte kenner zit naast mij.
Ja, dat is Ronald Speelbos. Die vragen we zo meteen wat u ervan vindt.
Nou, ik vind het een verrassende keuze en ik vind het een heel erg leuke en gewaagde, in de goede zin, hè, een gewaagde keuze. Ik heb gisteravond eventjes een interview met Rijkaard gezien en ik dacht gewoon, wat is dat leuk, zo iemand zonder capsones. Die gewoon zegt zoveel als hij kwijt wil, niet geheimzinnig doet, niet een hele hoop poeha en façades hoeft op te houden. Nee, ik heb daar alle vertrouwen in. Ja.
Meneer Speelbos, u bent 11 jaar ook voetballer geweest, internationaal voetballer. 4 jaar samen met Frank Rijkaard en u hebt 10 jaar ervaring als trainer, onder andere van FC Utrecht. Bent u het eens met mevrouw Enquist?
Ja, ik kan er wel volledig mee instemmen.
Jenter begynner oftere å onanere, nei, tidligere å onanere enn før, og de får sin første orgasme mye tidligere nå enn før.
Det er fremskritt der også.
Veldig bra.
Godt å høre. Marcela, er det sånn at jenter føler seg snytt når de ikke får orgasme når de har sex?
Jeg trenger ikke orgasme hver gang,
Nei.
men av og til. Altså med tull, det har vært liksom, jeg holder og har det godt samleie og stryk og ikke så lenge man er forelsket. Det er tull. Av og til skal man ha orgasme. Ikke bare av og til.
Ja, men hvis det å få orgasme er det store kicket, liksom, hvorfor kan ikke dere da bare onanere, liksom, at så kan vi guttene bare hive oss på dere av og til og bli ferdig med det?
Ja, det er så fint, dette.
Ja.
Vi kan bare ligge i hver sin seng.
Ja.
Så ligger vi der.
Er det like viktig for en jente å få orgasme på en one night stand som det er for en gutt? Gutta?
Hadde jeg fått vite at noen hadde spilt en orgasme, så jeg hadde kastet den ut med en gang. Jeg mener, altså, ja, altså, sex, hva var da virkelig sexen?
Det er
Altså,
ganske menneskeløst, one night stand, og det ikke fungerer. Hva gjør man da?
da slutter man.
Ja, men du trenger jo ikke å spille orgasme. Det er jo bare å si at det var bra, men jeg kom ikke. Ja, men ellers så gjør man noe selv for å komme. Herregud.
Ich denke mal, sie ist auch ein bisschen herrschsüchtig. Und wenn er abtreten möchte, dann wäre ihre Position auch gefährdet.
Ja, da ist was
Und
dran.
sie ist doch, und sie hat auch Machtsucht. Also so sehe ich das. Und deswegen hält sie zu ihm und denkt, da geht's weiter.
Karin?
Das ist eine intelligente Frau, natürlich hält sie zu ihm, aber ich muss ganz ehrlich sagen, der Bill Clinton, das ist ein super Politiker, der hat sich doch nicht als Papst beworben. Das ist so unwichtig, finde ich, muss ich ganz ehrlich sagen. Der Star, der macht eine Kampagne gegen ihn, das ist auch politisch, das ist nicht nur mit Sex. Ich denke, das kommt natürlich beim Publikum super an, Oralsex, das ist eine richtig tolle Schlagzeile. Aber der Mann ist politisch einwandfrei und das ist im Moment, wo die Nahostkrise ist, Asien-Wirtschaftskrise, so unwichtig. Die Frau steht zu ihm und das andere würde ich sagen, das sollten Sie mal ein bisschen unter den Tisch kehren.
Zena even. Is echt voor deze.
Je draagt alleen nog maar Zena.
Ik draag uitsluitend nog Zena.
Dan moet dit, hoe lang is dit ongeveer?
The story I wanted to tell with the Verkade film was the story of a reorganization in a factory. And I wanted to tell it from different parts of the hierarchy. And the higher up you get in the hierarchy, the more men you run into. And the lower you get, the more women you see. So I figured if I want both men and women involved in the story, the women should be telling me the story of the work floor, the actual workers. And that's easier said than done, because the women were very shy to talk to me, and they were scared because the reorganization wasn't completely done yet, and they were afraid they were going to say something that would be dangerous to them. And it was easier to get the men on the work floor to talk to me, but they were too eager. So you can't say it's easier to talk to men than to women, but you have to put a lot of energy into making them comfortable. Making the women comfortable was very difficult. And I decided that I could make it easier for them if I would not just to talk to one woman, but put them together in a group that they knew, put them in their own environment, so their own cafeteria, in their own work hours, so that they don't have to come back for the interview, that it's just in their normal day's work, and they're on the work floor, and they come for the interview, and then they leave again. And I was very happy I chose that, because it worked perfectly. They're all set together, and one threw in one piece of the story, and the other thought, well, if she dares, then I'll throw one thing in. And after a while, you can see in the story, they were quite daring, and one of them actually said, we all sat here and we thought, fuck this, we're not going to work anymore. And I was so happy with that, and I would have never gotten it if I would have just taken one woman. It's very important for me to have both men and women in the film, because men and women are part of society. But a lot of times women are not as good, a lot of time women are not as confident as men, and that I think is the most difficult part of getting women on the television. And it's a matter of making them feel comfortable, and whatever you need to do to make them feel comfortable is what you have to do. It's your obligation. You're a program maker, you want to show society, about society, it's your obligation to get them good on the screen, and if they're not good enough, most of the time it's because you didn't put enough energy into it. So whatever it takes, do they want to speak at home? Do they want to speak while they're doing something? Do they want to speak with somebody else in the room? Do I have to do it twice or 3 times? When I want them on the film and I know they're good enough, and most of the time they are good enough, but you just have to comfort them, then they should be in it. And they have a very good story to tell. It just takes a little longer, usually. Is that sexist? They say the one who tells a story best is the one you should ask. But I don't completely agree with that. Because who is the one telling the story best? Is that the one who sits down and has all the answers and spits them out? Or are you, as a program maker, always curious about the one that said, I don't want to be on television? Aren't they always the people that you think, maybe there is a story behind it? And it takes more energy. I mean, the one who's first in line and who sits down and says, I'll tell you what it's all about. Is that the best one? It's the first one. It's the easiest one, and you'll be home before 6 and you have dinner on the table 6:30. But is he the best one, or is she the best one? I don't think so. The fact that I find it important that women should be on television is not just because I think it's unfair. It's that men are always in the picture, and it's not fair that women should. It's much more that I think it makes better television, because women have a story that hasn't been told yet. There's a lot of stories where, if you look at the women's version, where nobody's done that before, you will find a different story and a different angle, and it makes interesting television. It makes much better television than just automatic pilot. And it's up to us to look for the stories.